Hey everybody, it's Mr. Wolf, and we're here with the last lesson video, the last section of Unit 6. This section will come as a lot of review from the last video you guys watched. We'll also introduce some new stuff here. This one's going to be rather short, so make sure you pay attention, get all the stuff, get that note sheet finished. Remember, guys, the test is on the 23rd. That's a Tuesday. We have the Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, Friday groups together now, so you'll all be there in class unless you're fully virtual. Take the test. So let's just go ahead and jump into this. I don't need to make it longer than it needs to be. So we talked about the incenter and the circumcenter last time. Let's do a little bit of review about each of these. One way I think would be a good way to do this is to draw a little chart out. We'll say that this side is the incenter. This side is the circumcenter. And let's just write out what we know about each. The incenter we know is equal distance from all sides of the triangle. And in similar to that, we know that the circumcenter is equal distance from all vertices of the triangle. Back to the incenter, we know that it is located where the angle bisectors of the triangle meet. And we know with the circumcenter that that is located where the perpendicular bisectors of the triangle meet. Lastly, we want to say one more thing about each of these. I'll extend the page a little bit. The incenter is the center of the only circle that can be inscribed in a triangle. Back to the circumcenter, we say it is the center of the only circle that can be circumscribed around a triangle. And that's the most important information about these two things. I would recommend making this chart on an extra sheet of paper or something and keeping it to study for the test, because you definitely will have questions about these two terms, and those are all of the most important facts about both of those. So let's go on, and this video will be pretty short. There's only 2 slides in this, so don't worry, guys. We'll talk about polygons and circles a little bit. So we did touch on that in the last video, as far as having something along the lines of a square and inscribing a circle within it. So let's see if I can get this to match up perfect here. There we go, that's close. We had something like that, and then we touched on the idea that you could have a circle like this with some sort of polygon side of it. I can match that up. Boom. That's pretty close right there. So you can have these things, but there are some things we want to say about them. Move this out. So So you can see this. You can see that these things are possible. But there is one important fact here that we want to point out, is that not all polygons can have inscribed or circumscribed circles. So what's that mean? In what instance would this occur? Well, let's think back to when we looked at polygons. We had regular polygons and we had irregular polygons. Let's see if I have an example. We had regular polygons such as the heptagon here, the ones that were convex, but let's think about those irregular ones that were concave. We said you could have something like this that looks on most sides to be like a regular polygon, but we got this one dent inward. This is a case where you couldn't have a circle inscribed in it. Remember, if a circle is to be inscribed, it has to touch at one point on all sides, and you can attempt to write or to draw a circle in this, and of course, there are circles that will touch all sides, but it's going to break outside the bounds of that polygon. And the same goes for circumscribing. If we wanted to draw a circle around this polygon that touched all vertexes of the polygon, we couldn't do it. We could get it to almost all of them, but there's that dent inward that prevents us from really getting there. So that's a very important fact to keep in mind, that you cannot inscribe or circumscribe circles with all polygons. And I don't want to get too in-depth with this stuff because this is just something we touch on lightly, but I do want to throw out a couple more facts here, and then I'll let you guys get to your notes. So we say what we have said, that you can inscribe and circumscribe circles, but not with all polygons. An important fact relating to this same kind of thing is that the opposite angles of a quadrilateral in a circumscribed circle are always supplementary. Oops. So there's a couple words here that we've used throughout the year that we need to recall upon, think about what they mean. Quadrilateral, if we remember, is any four-sided polygon. So your squares, parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, those things. And then supplementary are any two angles that add up to equal 180 degrees. So let's think about what this means. We've looked at a lot of quadrilaterals in our polygon unit. And if you don't quite remember, there was only one subset of polygons that we could consider to have supplementary opposite angles. It was a type of parallelogram, and if you look at the examples we've done, it kind of falls in place in that what we're saying here is that a parallelogram in a circumscribed circle must be a rectangle. And you may find yourself saying, well, we did it with a square, but if you think back to Unit 5, rectangles and squares, kind of the same thing in that all squares are rectangles, but remember, not all rectangles are squares. So let's think about what we have here and what we can do with this. If we say that the opposite angles of a quadrilateral and a circumscribed circle are supplementary, let's look at this square we have over here. These would both be 90-degree angles, right? So that means that those will add up to 180 degrees. So they are supplementary. And you'll have the same case with a rectangle. So two big things to take out here. The opposite angles of a quadrilateral within a circumscribed circle are always supplementary. And that really leads us to that a parallelogram circumscribed within a circle or a circumscribed by a circle must be a rectangle, which could also be a square. And that's really it for this. That's all I needed you guys to know for this section. I was trying to keep this as short as I possibly could because I know you guys need to study for that test. Remember, guys, once again, the test is coming up very, very soon. So get that note sheet filled out. Your note sheets will be your best resource for studying, other than a study guide we're going to be completing in the next couple of days. So make sure that you've used or filled out all of your note sheets and used the videos to the best of their ability to get all that you can for the test that's coming up, because it'll be very important. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this far into the video. I hope you were able to get everything down. If you need any extra help, feel free to reach out to me or Mr. Rose, and we'll see you again in the video covering the study guide.